Hello and welcome back to the Why Not Me podcast. I'm Kevin Delgado, and before we get started today, let's pray. God, thank you so much for this time and for this moment. Lord, I pray you use the words that I say, you place them and speak through me, God, and may you impact somebody today. Pray this in your name. Amen. Man, there's been a lot going on in my life with establishing and knowing who I am and who I want to be and who I'm being called to be. You know, I have kids, I have a wife, I have a work, I have a business, I have this passion. And something that's been on my mind quite a lot lately is this idea of standing on business. And I think culturally trending, people say, I'm going to stand on business. I'm going to stand on business. I'm going to do me and represent me, respect me. And I've been thinking about what does that actually mean to stand on business? And why are we standing on business? So for today's podcast episode, we're talking about standing on business and how does that apply to your Why Not Me journey? And how do I see this concept of standing on business? And I have my notes here because I have a definition I want to read to you. This is a good old Google search. So a definition for standing on business, a slang term meaning to take responsibility, handle affairs, and ensure actions match words, practicing what you preach. It signifies holding oneself accountable, maintaining boundaries, and being serious about commitments. And here's where I was blown away by that definition of standing on business. I'm getting a little older now, so I'm not as trendy or in the know. But when I hear people say I'm standing on business, it's usually revolving around some form of conflict, something of conflict, some issue where they're having to encourage themselves to defend, fight, or say something that is going to be uncomfortable. And I don't know that I've placed it in this kind of a constructive place, a constructive environment yet until now. Practicing what you preach, being accountable to something, ensuring action matches words, and maintaining boundaries, that is so important in life. Not only in your personal relationship life, but also like in your Why Not Me journey. So what is standing on business and how does it apply to your Why Not Me journey? I think the first question, first statement question thing I want to talk through and my ideas is this idea of standing on business represents something bigger. If you stand for nothing, if you believe in nothing, if you don't have a strong conviction towards something, then the next shiny, glamorous thing that you see is going to distract you and pull you away. So if you're in a pursuit of bettering yourself, if you're in a pursuit of growing into what is next for you, into what's been instilled in your heart, into that seed that's growing in the garden, you're going to have this strong foundation, this purpose, this direction, this burning desire. And it's important to recognize the strength of that and to stand on that business. But I think so many times where we get lost is we don't have this very clear understanding of what we stand for, and therefore we fall for a lot. We fall for trends. We fall for social media. We fall for rabbit holes. We fall for distractions. We fall to lies. We fall for lies. We fall for all of our insecurities, everything that happens when we don't know what we stand on. I know I've been in so many places in my current journey right now, working on building this academy, working on helping folks conquer their mountain and say, why not me? And there's been so many times where I find myself saying, God, why me? Are you sure? And then it's immediately after I say that, I'm met with some divine reinforcement. It needs to be you. I'm calling you. I'm choosing you. And over the last 7 months, that internal battle of, are you sure me still? And then God saying, it has to be you. It's created this very clear, solid foundation of the business that I have to stand on. I am being called to mobilize people into a better future, to encourage people to see themselves as gifted the way that God gifted them, and to look in the mirror and feel free, liberated, encouraged, and empowered to pursue what they are called to pursue. That is the business that I stand on. So the reason I'm calling that out, knowing where I stand now, knowing where I want to go, knowing what I'm called, seeing the encouragement that it comes from my wife, from my kids, from my colleagues, from my friends, for my family, seeing that encouragement come towards this direction I'm going, it further affirms what I stand on. What is my business I stand on? The minute that the lies come into my head, there's many times that I tell myself, or I hear this whisper in my saying, you are not worthy of doing what you're being called to do. Why would you do it? I've heard it many times. You're not worthy to tell people how to live because you're not perfect. You're not worthy to be in the rooms that you are in. And yet I have to remind myself that there is a business I stand on. There is this foundation that I stand on. There is this thing inside of me that I must honor and protect. And that is my Why Not Me journey. Empowering people and mobilizing people. Being so sure in what I stand for provides me the footing, the grounding, the confidence to say, hey, thanks for that lie, but I will keep pressing on. Thanks for that discouragement, but I'm going to remain accountable to what has been placed in my heart. Thanks for trying to derail me, but I'm going to continue to defend what I know is to be true. And I see you trying to get in my way, but I'm going to put action behind my words, the words that have been placed in my heart to share out there. And that's why it's important that we stand on business. You know, it's uncomfortable to stand against something or to stand up for something when no one else is standing with you. And if there isn't this strong sense of what you stand for, what that thing is, I stand for my family, for my faith, for my calling, for empowering others. If there's no strong sense of that, then you're going to miss many opportunities to exercise that calling, to honor your family, to honor your faith, to honor whatever it is you hold near and dear to you. And listen, I'm preaching to myself as well, because there's many times where someone does something or something happens that I know is not in alignment with who I am or want to be, that is not something that I believe true to be true in my heart, and it makes me uncomfortable. And in that moment of discomfort, I have this decision to make. Do I let it slide because it's uncomfortable and I really don't want to deal with that? I don't want to stand out and create friction. I don't want to ruin what could possibly be a relationship. Also, you have this discomfort of, okay, well, if I stand up, I'm also exposing myself. And now that I'm exposed, people are going to judge me. People are going to know me. People are going to talk about me. People are going to leave my circle that were once in my circle because they don't align with what I believe in. People don't necessarily agree with what I want to do. Therefore, they're going to ridicule me or try to fail it. And people are going to be envious, and therefore they're going to try for a failure. And that is all scary, risky things. However, the business that you have to stand on is worth it. If those people that you're afraid will judge you because you have a passion to do something bigger than yourself, then should those people really be in our corner? Are they holding us back or are they propelling us? If you're afraid that what you do is going to change your circle, it's going to bring haters to come and try to tear you down. Good for you. You have big dreams. You have big callings. And that calling is probably bigger than the person you're worried about. Go. Do it. Stand on your business. The discomfort is not enough to derail you from your Why Not Me journey. You have to know the business you stand on, and you have to stand on it. I think it's so common that when I think about or hear the term stand on business, it's like in this combative nature, like I'm ready to fight you. I'm ready to defend my honor. And I want to say this, like there are going to be moments where it feels that way. It feels like it's conflict. Not all conflict is bad. Some conflict is healthy. However, when you're faced with this choice to stand on business or to be passive, it's important that you don't do it in a way that you're trying to inflict harm, but you don't shy away from what you know to be true. I think something I've learned recently is this: the reality of conflicts and tension. And I've learned this a lot in my marriage, honestly, that like there is this conflict and tension that comes when there's an uncomfortable topic that maybe my wife and I are not standing on the same place on. That it's easy for me to say, you know what, I don't feel like getting into a fight today. I'm just going to take the high road and go sit down and watch some TV or work on some writing or record a podcast. Rather than saying, hey, part of the business I stand on is knowing that I want a fruitful, faith-centered marriage that not only is beautiful and fun for us and meaningful for us, but also is a beautiful example to our families and to our environment, and that's something that God could use to move others. So therefore, because I want that, because that's part of who I am and what I believe I'm being called to be, I am going to respectfully lean into this moment. And here's where it's important that we don't just approach standing on business as a combative thing, as a conflict thing. It will be uncomfortable. There will be tension. Come at it constructively. You know, in the moments with my wife, hey, I hear you. Here's where I'm coming from. Here's what I believe in and why I think it's right. Tell me why you think what you're doing is right, and let's get somewhere to the middle. And what I've done there is I showed what I stand for. She'll tell me what she stands for, and we'll find overlap. Or we won't find overlap and we'll agree to disagree. Another way that it's important to approach standing on business, especially if the business you're standing on is like defending your calling, defending who you are and what you want to be. If you have someone trying to tear you down and you meet them with the same energy, that's only going to destroy your image. That's only going to derail your goal. That's only going to devalue your movement when you launch the movement. So rather than meeting fire with fire, you meet fire with a firm yet loving grace. Hey, listen, you don't have to love me. You don't have to respect me. This is also what I'm being called to do, so I will continue doing it. And if you don't want to be part of that, no problem. We'll catch up later. And that is a way that we can stand on business that is not going to derail you, that is not going to harm you, that is not going to burn or ruin your image. It's going to honestly probably bolster and strengthen your image and your identity, the way that you know yourself and the way you're perceived and seen, and the way you see yourself in the mirror, which is super important. So as we go through our Why Not Me journey, as you define what the business that you stand for is, as you understand what are the ingredients that make your foundation you're standing on, that you represent, that you're being called to do, defend that and stand on that. So when you are standing on your business and you find yourself in a tense moment, in a moment of conflict, to express what business you're standing on, what you believe in, it's okay if you don't move forward together, but the goal is to find a path forward. The conflict, the combat, the standing on business is not meant to break and tear everybody down. It's meant to clarify direction, pathway, and calling. So when I stand on my business, I am not only reinforcing to myself internally what I stand for. I'm not only making it a clear picture when I look in the mirror of who I am and who I'm being called to be, but I'm also proclaiming, this is the direction I'm going, and this is what I want to be surrounded by. And if you're not going to propel me in that, if you're not going to enhance that, then it's okay if you're not a part of my circle. It's okay. And here's the bottom line. Like, I've gotten to a place where I find discomfort, I find tension as an opportunity to be and do things I find tension, I find conflict, I find those moments that really tear you apart and say, like, what do I do right here? As a great opportunity to not only show who you are, but defend for what you believe is right. And this morning I was listening to a sermon and I heard this pastor say this line, and it stuck with me. The only time that we have to do the right thing is right now. The only time we have to do the right thing is right now. There is no promise for tomorrow. So if you're faced with the challenge to stand on business right now and stand up for what you believe is right, respectfully, cordially, do it. And do it with the intent of finding a path forward. Okay? So what do I mean stand on business? First thing is figure out what business you stand on. What is the foundation that you represent? What the things you carry with you that are your identity that you want to represent and be an ambassador for? Meaning represent it at the highest level with exception, with excellence. Who are you representing? What do you believe? That's the business you stand on. And when it comes time to be in a moment of discomfort, to honor that business you stand on, do it with the intention of finding a path forward. Now listen, the path forward, it may be just for you. Hopefully it's for both, all parties involved. But if it's just for you, then that is enough. If it's just when you defend yourself, you defend your business, what you stand on, what you represent, your why not me, when you stand on business, one thing it will do for certain, it's going to bolster you. It's going to strengthen your confidence, your self-esteem, the way that you see yourself. And listen, the entire Why Not Me journey is all about this. I'm on this path, I'm on this journey where God has shown me who I am, and I am trusting that wholeheartedly. God, you are saying I'm this, so therefore I'm gonna be this. Standing on business, why not me? All this leads into the way you see yourself in the mirror. See yourself more like God sees you, or more like you're being called to be seen, or the things that lay in your heart. Okay? See that in the mirror. And every time you get the opportunity to stand on business, it's going to reinforce what you see in the mirror. Whether that is, I take the high road and I'm passive, or I stand on business. So make sure that you're in tune and you're ready for those opportunities, because there is only one moment to do the right thing, and that is right now. Your Why Not Me journey, your calling, your purpose, it is all worth it. And not everyone that is near you right now that seems to be cheering you on may actually be cheering you on. And not everyone that is near you right now will be next to you when you get to your next checkpoint in your Why Not Me journey. Carry that with you. Stand on business. Define the business. And remember that you stand for something that's meaningful. Therefore, you don't fall for just anything. And that is worth more than comfort. Thank you so much for your time. I hope this is meaningful for you. Hope you grow. I hope you feel ready to mobilize to see yourself the way that you are made. And I hope you find yourself ready to stand on business. Peace.